Boca.Black box to see Stuttering John.
We did.
Are you both in the Dabbleverse? Are you both familiar with what we...
This is amazing. These guys went to the Boca.Black box and spent the evening with John. Now we get the truth. Mr. Personality.
You do here?
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, we are. Well, Tom wasn't really, but we did about a 10-hour crash course the weekend before where I showed him who John was, the whole deal. And we went to that show, and it was about as great as you could imagine.
It feels like it. Just the audio I'm hearing. I wish I had video of it. The audio I'm hearing sounds like a lot of people were in on the joke of just like, we're cracking up at how bad he is at comedy.
Well, it's funny you say that because the guy who recorded it, Boca Dave, he was standing right behind us. And so the laughing that you hear is us, mostly. Mostly me. So we went out with him after, but it requires a little bit of backstory.
Okay.
Because we showed up to the show. We get there. We walk in. We show our QR codes because we purchased our tickets online. And nobody scanned them. Anybody could have walked into the show.
No, they can tell by eyeball. They're just like, yep, that's the correct QR code.
Just come in, whatever.
That's funny.
And we sat at a bar that was like adjacent to the stage. Rest of the crowd was, rows deep. We couldn't even see them. They were behind a wall that we couldn't even see. It was about 60 people, though.
Okay.
And John's set was, just terrible.
I have examples. I have some clips. I'm going to play it a little bit, but yeah, we've heard a lot of it already.
Dude,
well, tell them what they told you before we walked in.
Right, before we even get into the venue, an armed security guard is like, no recording. And I go, audio, not even audio? He goes, no. Like, threatening my life.
I wonder who told him to make sure you reiterate that.
Say again?
I'm sure John was giving everyone a heads up because the MC had to say he wrote for the Jay Leno show.
Make sure you brandish your pistol.
Yeah. Show it proud. Yes, that's exactly right. And so we sit down, and I was like, oh my God, already it's fucked up. The openers were horrible.
Whoa. Tell them about when you made eye contact with him before we went on stage.
That's after the openers, though. The openers, there was one girl who was so bad.
I heard about that from Boca Dave. He actually sent me all the opener sets. I don't know that we want to humiliate those poor people.
No.
It's really bad.
But she was doing like the typical, girl comic thing. She was talking about her vagina. It was like, and Tom and I were like, oh my God.
Good stuff.
But then, what's his name?
Jimmy.
No, Jackie. Not Jackie from the Stern Show.
Jackie Gleason's daughter.
Daughter was there. She was solid. She was good.
She's good.
And then, while she's performing, I look to my right through a clear glass door, and John is standing there by himself, and he's giving me one of these, his eyes pointing at my eyes. And I'm like, what the fuck? Just like that, like making that gesture towards me. And I'm like, are we gonna die?
He's on to you. You better laugh.
You're gonna buy me beers.
Yes, you Nicola Vultures are coming from you. And then John comes in while she's still doing her set. John comes in, he runs to the bathroom, whatever. He comes right up to me. My phone's sitting on the bar that we're sitting at. And he comes right up to me and taps me on the shoulder and goes, "You're not recording the set, are you? You're not recording this? Are you recording with that phone?"
So paranoid.
And I was like, "No, John, we're here because you're a legend of show business. We're your biggest fan."
Nice.
And he was
That's the
like,
right answer.
well, it was the right, and he believed me.
Yep.
He knows exactly how to play him. That's hysterical. The Vince the Lawyer School of John.
Of course he did. He wants to believe that.
All right, you guys want to come to Miller's afterwards?
Immediately, he's like, "Bet, we're getting drinks after." Miller's. And I'm like, okay, good. He does his set. It's the worst thing you've ever seen. You guys.
Yep.
Why do you think he singled you guys out? Why do you think he chose
So we were the only two young guys in the audience, and we were just...
Clearly, just by our presence.
Yeah.
Everyone else was there. No one was there to see him.
They're just there for a comedy show.
Right. They just go probably once a month.
Mhm.
They're old. They live in Boca.
It's a tax write-off.
It's a tax. But
So it's safe to say that they would all be there getting drunk, being rowdy, having a great time, whether there was stand-up or not.
correct.
Yes.
Great. And I think that explains why he got such a positive reaction.
They
Right.
might have thought it was a band.
It wasn't Led Zeppelin. No.
But no, I mean, and this set, the worst set of all time.
But you're having fun. You guys are laughing. You're enjoying yourselves. And then afterwards, does he come back over to you?
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
Well, we waited. We sat there because we knew we wanted to hang out with John after. Listen, we're not there to goof on him, but we're there to observe him in a scientific way.
Yep.
And so we waited till everybody walked out. He was like, after a set, he was like, all right, well, I'm doing pictures out on the porch. Nobody got a fucking picture with him out on the porch. We followed him out. And he, oh my God. It's okay. So Boca Dave, the guy who recorded the show, he was standing right behind us. He left. He didn't go with us. He left right when John was done. Because I bet when John came up to me and said, "Are you recording?" he probably was scared as shit that he was talking to him.
Yeah, you gotta leave the scene of the crime. You don't want to loiter.
He was on a mission. He was on Mission Impossible. That's exactly right. But okay, so we're on the porch after. It's John and Jackie's daughter and a couple other, and the openers and a couple other people. He's like, all right, we're all going to Miller's Ale House. And we're like, all right, we're going to get an Uber and go. You two, just get in my car. And we're like, what?
Nice. You got to be in the cat-turned car.
In the
Benz.
Benz.
In the Benz.
Wow. All right, tell me about this.
Okay. So we walk down the doorsteps, right? And we go to his car. And I try to sit shotgun, right? And I open the door. And I just open the door. Just a bunch of, like mail and pill bottles immediately.
Like a waterfall.
And he's just like, ignore all of this. Ignore all this.
Just sit in the back.
Just sit in the back. Just sit in the back.
It's like 1,000 pill bottles.
It's like,
Wow.
obviously it's like Klonopins or something.
Yeah.
Were there any cats back there?
No cats.
What was the smell like in the car?
Normal.
Okay.
But it wasn't his headrests that are in those other videos. That's obviously not his car. The headrests were normal. It was a normal fucking
interesting.
car.
Wait.
Yes, that's right.
You're blowing my mind right now. He's not in his car when he's doing those cameos?
Unless he adjusts them.
Weird.
We didn't think
Weird.
he knew how.
Weird. I was like, wait,
Okay.
dude, weird. And then, and he said on his show recently, he was like, I moved to Tampa 2 weeks ago. I have a terrible problem with directions. I can't go anywhere without Google Maps. I'm like, we're going to Miller's. You go right here. Florida is the easiest driving state in the world. You go left and right. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He was like, he had to pull up the map and look up what the fucking directions were. I was like, go here, make a right, and we're there.
He's been there before.
He probably came from there to go to the comedy club.
Yes.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Are they copping him free drinks at the comedy club? I don't know. He might have just stayed there. But
Anyways, we get to Miller's.
But wait. We're skipping an also important part.
Okay.
I kind of did begin to show that I was fucking with him. Not fucking with him. And not there to goof on him. But just aware of the Dabbleverse, Because, well, first of all, right away he came up and accused me of recording him. So already he's like on to me. And then in the car, he's like, what music do you guys like? And I go, what's the song with the guy who's selling socks for free? And he goes, doo-wop? How do you know about that?
Oh, shit.
I was like, I know everything, John. Don't worry.
John's original written and played tune, Socks in the City. I met a man in this city, in a village. He was selling socks for free. That's good.
Getting too close to the sun right there, buddy.
No, not
Gotta be
that.
careful.
No, not though, because
Dark side of the moon.
because he was totally fine because he knew that there were Michelob Ultras coming.
Good. Okay. Cool.
So we get the Millers.
Two quick questions.
Yeah.
First off, how tall is John in your estimation?
5'7".
5'7". Okay. How drunk is he at this point? Because I know he's drinking on stage. He orders additional beers while he's on stage. Is he pretty inebriated, or is he all right?
Like halfway through to get another beer.
Yeah.
Did you say
And it was like, Sko!
Well, we were scolding him. Not like evident how drunk he is,
Okay.
because he can kind of, take it easy.
Got it.
But he's banged up for sure. He had probably 12 beers.
He called him a professional alcoholic, which is pretty amazing. He, talk about luck. He hasn't gotten busted for DUI or DW. Amazing. For 35 years he's been doing it.
Prior to going to the bar.
All right. So he's just pre-gaming still. I got it.
Oh, yeah.
And he's talking to you, but he's paranoid about you, and he's riding that line, and you're riding that line, and just seeing how far it's going to go until it breaks.
Well, I truly don't care. Fuck John.
We're like, John, you want to look at our camera rolls or something?
Yeah, I'm like, well, when he came up the first time, I was like, here's my phone, John. I handed him my phone. Check if it's
Okay.
recording. Fucking
All right. So you get to the ale house with John.
We get the ale house.
So we get to Ale House.
Is it just the three of you, or other people coming and hanging out?
Other people are there.
Okay.
About 3 guys.
No, like 4.
Like 4.
Yeah.
There.
There's some dude who showed up who kind of looked like a real life Peter Griffin.
Yes, that's right. And I thought they were kind of like part of his entourage. And I was like, wait a minute, John doesn't have an entourage. These are people who are either there to goof on him also, or are retarded and are just there.
But they came from the comedy club. Is my point, though.
Yes, from the
They
comedy.
came along to hang out with John. Okay.
Yes, yes.
And how does he treat these people? How does he interact with them? Is it normal? Is it crazy?
They're not talking to him. We're the only ones talking to him the whole time.
Who's buying the beers?
We
Peter
are.
Griffin.
You guys bought him beers. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
We
cool.
have, like, 5 or 6 pitchers or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that.
No, we're drinking heavily. We
Well-
closed the bar.
Tell him what he said to the waitress when we first walked in.
We sit down at Miller's Ale House. We're the only people sitting at the bar. We order Miller. He ordered, guess what did he order? We all know.
Either Coors or Mick Ultra.
Michelob.
Michelob Ultra.
Yeah.
He orders Michelob.
I'm on a diet.
Right.
Great joke. And they bring him a Miller. Critical mistake for that waitress. This is a nice girl, young girl, about our age. He's like, hey, I didn't order a fucking Miller. I ordered a Michelob. I'm like, John,
Jesus Christ. It's
John.
the same thing. It's the same goddamn thing.
John,
Comes out of the same line.
Yeah, right.
you don't have to be this is a hardworking girl. It's midnight. You
Yeah.
don't have to be an asshole to this bartender.
Before you just slapped a different label on it. Oh, here you go, Your Majesty.
Oh my god. Oh my god. It was unbelievable. And that was like the first time I got pissed at John.
Okay.
I was
Just,
like,
yeah, he's very rude to the people he sees as beneath him.
yes.
He was trying to impress you guys.
Oh, maybe that's it too.
Well, that also is
What
possible.
the fucking hell?
I think he racially profiled you guys at the beginning, and then he
Yeah.
used you to buy his beers and to
Yep.
maybe listen to him. And he's figuring out, and you were a great example of it, figuring out how to coexist in this world where he claims the dabblers are all Nazis, but they're his only friends. And they're the only ones supporting him.
Right,
And
yeah.
somehow,
You
this has
nailed
to
it.
settle into something, natural.
Exactly right.
Because what you did, gentlemen, is point out what we've been saying for years, which is sitting in the back seat of a car and just watching John's head try and drive is more entertaining than, you spent more time on it than the entire evening of stand-up that he did. That's
Right,
the entertaining
right.
part. That was
Yeah.
the takeaway from the evening. That's when he started getting funny.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Well beyond. We were there till close. They closed at 2. We were in the bar at midnight. His set was 45 minutes. We left at 10:30.
With the YouTube music app,
You can start a radio station with up to 30.
Like 1 a.m.
So you guys were chatting with John for hours.
Hours.
What's he talking about? What's he talking
What are the
about?
highlights? What do we got?
Old Stern bits. Well, I was talking because I love the Howard Stern show from the old days. I was telling him about old Stern bits. I was listening to him saying he was so retarded. He was saying like, Artie never wrote his own stuff. Jackie never wrote his own stuff.
Oh, what an asshole. Always be bashing.
Are you fucking stupid? You didn't write your own stuff. You.
It's not like these guys are going to go on a show and talk about this conversation.
They better not be recording me.
And he asked us again at the bar, are you recording me again?
I thought so hard. I thought how funny it would be if I just pulled up the recording app and just like slid it to him across the bar.
You should be like, no, but thanks for reminding me. I already missed some gold.
But this is what he always does. He claims he knew you were recording. And also spoke freely and said everything he wanted to and shit talk anyone around him. So if you were recording him, he'd say, I told him and here's the proof. And if you weren't, he got to use you and say whatever he wants anyway. And you know what? If you were Stern fans, who the fuck wants to hang out with like an ex-Beatle and just hear him talk about how the Beatles are all assholes and didn't write their stuff and I hate them and they're bitter jerks and I wish they'd die. Like, you're ruining it for everybody.
Right.
God.
Also, going after Artie Lang is such a dumb move. Like, everyone loves Artie Lang. It is the one thing everyone can agree on. Every other show, there's controversy. I like this guy, I like that guy, I like this bit, I like that. Everyone loves Artie Lang. For him to be like, yeah, he sucks, he's not funny, just like, fuck off.
He did get earnest, though. He wasn't being an asshole the entire time. He does actually have a human soul inside of him, contrary to popular belief.
What are some examples of that?
Well, he's like, well, he remembers all the shit that happened, and I remember it too, and so I kind of felt bad for him.
That happened. What stuff that happened?
Just the whole Stern show.
He was like, oh, it gets serious when they throw trash on your lawn.
Oh my god. Well, this is when I confronted him. When I was like, John, there's a whole industry of people based around you that very few people have.
Right.
Are goofing on you, but why don't you try to lean into that and embrace that and try to make some money off?
He hates that advice. He hates that.
What'd he say?
And he's like, and he goes, I'm not about hate, I'm about love.
And I'd love another beer.
and I love another bucket of Michelob Ultra. Let's go!
All right, is there what else, any other highlights from the conversation that you wanted to tell us about?
We were talking about William Shatner at one point.
Yeah, we were. Well, we were going through all kinds of old Stern bits. And he's not, I don't believe he's an evil man, but he is. We had a theory that he's potentially one of the greatest actors of all time, and he was faking this whole thing on a ruse, on a 40-year ruse. But after meeting him in person, I know for a fact that is not true.
And the stutter.
The stutter could easily be fake. That's up for debate.
That is up for debate.
But
was he stuttering at all when you were talking to him?
Of course. One of his
No. He wasn't stuttering. He gave us a fucking splash zone waterfall of spit.
Sputtering.
That's right to me.
Oh my god.
Yeah, we were talking about it'd be funny if his name was Drooling John instead of Stuttering John.
Soaked. He was saying something. I don't remember what he was saying, but he spit on us. It was so much. The volume was crazy.
What kind of questions would he ask you guys about you?
He was like,
how much pussy do you get?
Okay, I believe that.
He did ask us that.
Other than that, not really anything.
He was like, what'd you think of Honora?
Yeah, what'd you think of Honora?
You don't even come on the new movie, right?
I gotta watch that. You don't even, you gotta use the squeegee maneuver after Honora. We're like, nice, John.
Oh, he was referencing his stand-up set that he just seen.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
They call that a callback.
Yeah.
Did he talk about his trolls at all or complain about anyone in the Dabbleverse?
Well, yes. When I pressed him on it, yes. He was like, those people are weird. I don't understand why they do that. And when you get death threats to your family. He was screaming.
Oh, he started getting fired up.
Yes, he started screaming in my ear. And now this is also partially my fault because we were talking about the Howard Stern show and how the modern Howard Stern show is terrible. And, I said, they have Richard and Sal like doing gay stuff, and I used the F word. And when I used the F word, he looked at me like he was ready to fucking put a gun to my head. Which,
You gotta understand, he's a very liberal man. He doesn't like that type of language.
We told him that we were liberal too.
Well, he found out the truth when you let that slip, apparently.
No. He never found out anything.
Did you ask him about, like, is he coming back to the Dabbleverse? Did you have any conversations about the Dabbleverse with them, or not really?
I mean, we talked a little bit about Aaron M.
This is the first catching him in the wild, in his natural habitat. Amazing.
Well, he kind of had no idea about any of that at all. And I was like, oh yeah, I know Aaron M. Well, he got caught doing all these drugs with Nick Rekieta, and he was just like, I have none of that. I have no idea what any of that is.
How is that possible? He asked April to be on his show. And he's completely forgotten that entire thing. He knew about that shit.
He's feigning ignorance. Listen, we're supplying him his Michelob Ultras.
Yeah.
He's not going to tell us, anything.
Right. Okay. So he's pretty guarded.
Who does he think you are when he's ranting to you about the people in the Dabbleverse? Who does he think he's talking to?
Some young buck.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like he was hitting on you?
No.
Do you think in the beginning he asked you that because he wanted to see where you fell?
Nobody asked him about his weight. If he was in perfect physical shape from going to the gym every day. Who knows? We'll see.
How this evening was going to go?
He immediately invited
He did offer us a ride home after that.
He insisted,
Really?
and then the first thing he asked is, so you guys get a lot of girls? Is that you two?
He also was.
He did ask us.
He did ask you that.
And
Just get in the back seat. It's easier. Just get in the back seat. It's
Yeah,
much
yeah,
easier.
yeah.
The doors don't open from in there, but it's cleaner.
Don't mind the pills.
The Klonopin pile is not your concern.
Help yourself to any if you like.
So you guys closed the bar down with John. He was there until 2 a.m. with you guys?
Big time.
Okay. And then he drove off to Scott the engineer's house after that?
No, not Scott the
He went to
engineer.
Jimmy's.
Yeah, some other comedian who also opened for him.
Oh, okay. So he was staying with another guy.
Yeah,
Somewhat funny.
Not really.
Much funnier than John.
not much funnier than John. Right, yeah. Well, John's not a comedian. He's more of a one-man play.
Oh, tell them about the firm. Tell them about the firm.
Oh, my God. He's like, you guys, you got to watch The Firm. We're like,
Oh, my
what?
God.
You got to watch The Firm.
A Nora in the firm. So how does the evening end? How does he leave, and how does he go off, and how do you go off? Are there hugs? Does he ask for money?
We took a picture.
Did he charge you for it?
Of course.
Yeah, we paid for the beers.
Yeah, you guys
You're
earned
right.
your keep.
You did.
Yeah, he never pulled his wallet out once at the bar.
No, fuck no. What?
What did I?
He left it in his car.
Yeah, two buckets of 6 Michelobs each.
Something like that.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
Whatever. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
And you guys just left at the same time? Did he interact with anybody? Did he leave with anybody else, or?
No, he got back.
We
to
did
the
see
band.
Jackie's daughter at the end too.
She came to the bar. That's right,
Mm-hmm.
and complimented him.
So they just said last call, and he finished his beer and went, all right, guys, see ya, and hopped in his car and took off.
No, we were like, all right, we've had fucking enough mental anguish for the night, and we took off.
Wow.
Okay.
That's interesting.
So he was still there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, well, the bar's closed. He's not staying there.
Yeah. My brother.
I can only assume he got back in the Benz and drove back to fucking. Oh no, his friend in Boca. He's staying there.
Yeah.
Who he was doing the show from his place.
My brother texted me like halfway through. I have like an older brother. He was like, I was telling him, like, I'm with John right now. And he goes, oh, ask him about his lines in Osmosis Jones. And I asked him about it. He goes, yeah, I mean, like, it was great, but like they cut out a lot of my lines. You have no idea.
My greatness. They excluded my greatness.
How would anyone know he was in Osmosis? John, how did your brother know that? Did he look up on the internet or something?
No, his brother knows everything.
Yeah, my brother knows everything. I didn't
Because he
even
has-
know that either,
He has one line in Osmosis Jones. Someone sent it to me
Literally.
recently. Yeah, literally one line. And he's not even featured. If you look at the credits of the actors, you can't even find his name anywhere. So that's a deep pull. All right, guys. Well, thank you for having a fun night with John and telling us about it.
All right.
Do you mind if I ask
Appreciate
one
you.
last question? When
Yeah,
you were
please.
when you were turning your friend on to the Dabbleverse, what did you play him? What did you use to introduce him?
Ooh, good question.
The immediate YouTube recommendations, which was just like John stuff from the last couple months, and then we went back to old Stern stuff where he was getting accused of the exact same shit as now: lying, stealing, cheating.
Specifically, it was the stockbroker conversation where
Which I asked him about.
he's like, "Oh, well." Howard goes like, "So you get a call from a guy, and he's talking to you, and he says, so John, I got this nice stock, like you want
On
to
a company phone.
yeah, you want to get in on this?" And
he goes, well, what is it?
Do you have a copy of the picture that you guys took with John? Can we see that?
Yeah, we did.
Oh yeah. And by the way, John was like, they were IPOs. It was different.
It's not a stock. It's an IPO.
It's an IPO.
Which
He's still arguing his case.
Yes.
As if he's still talking to Howard Stern about it.
40 years ago.
It's hilarious. Well, I'm glad you guys had fun, and I'm glad you were able to report back to
Well,
us.
I mean, it kind of haunted me for a week. I was kind of like depressed. I was like, Jesus Christ. It was
Yeah,
really.
you didn't reach out to me right away. It took you a few days to reach out.
Here's us and John.
Oh, look at that. Memories. Is he on his tippy toes there? I don't think he is.
No.
Okay.
We're both 6 foot, so he's 5'7". That's pretty accurate.
Okay. All right. Well,
Legend, the god.
Hard.